Hey guys, I'm Jackson Cobalt, and I am currently wanting to start a series where I go over the characters in TV shows, starting off with characters from the anime Fairy Tail and making them in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, just because I can and because I think it was fun. So, we're going to start off today with Natsu Dragneel. Okay. And this is going to be kind of like showing you also how to build. Natsu Dragneel is going to be a pretty straightforward build, pretty simple build. Starting off, he is a human. The class we're going to choose is Kineticist. The background, it could basically be anything like Blessed, Chosen One, um, but I think I'm just going to go with a simple, straightforward, um, where is it? Going to probably go for something similar to Gladiator because of his, because this could basically just be adventurer lore instead. Um, Guard, there's like, I mean, the backgrounds are basically whatever you want, but I do like that this gives a boost into strength because I'm going to be making him a melee-focused kineticist, which means his top two are going to be strength and constitution. Um, of course, also using dexterity because he's not going to be very heavily armored. Um, like, there's plenty here. I'm just thinking, I believe there was one more I was thinking about beforehand. Just like warrior. We'd probably do warrior, except um, for heritage, there is an uncommon heritage, which is wait, where is it? Dragon blood. There we go, dragon blood. So we accept dragon blood. Um, where is it? We're just whatever one gives fire. So I guess it's diabolic gives fire. Dragon breath, fire. Yep. So we have um an ancestry feat, Breath of the Dragon. We can very easily take Breath of the Dragon. First, I will want to search by trait Dragon Blood because I'm not going to take a normal human one, obviously. Um, Draconic Aspect could work, but it's going to overlap a lot. Draconic Resistance is probably what we're going to take at level 1. Um, because it just straight up gives his resistance to fire, which is very integral part of his character. Um, this um, Scaly Hide is also important, but I think we will be raising our dexterity to more than a +3, so we don't need the Draconic Hide, the Scaly Hide. So instead, but it's totally fine if you choose it, if you're going to build this. But we got Draconic Resistance, which gives us resistance to fire equal to half of our level, minimum 1. Um, and then double this resistance against damage of that type dealt to you by dragons, which is very good for him. Of course, we just choose fire because that's what's associated with a draconic presence. We have to select a gate. We are going to select a single gate, and that single gate is obviously fire. We are a fire kineticist, which lets us pick 2 impulse feats, which will be the Burning Jet, which is basically his flying ability. It lets him stride. It lets him fly very far forward in bursts of movement. It's something that, and at 6th level, you can choose to leap. Normally, you leap in the air, and then 6th, you're even able to keep airborne with it, which is definitely something that Natsu does a bunch in the show. The other one we're going to take Scorching Column, which is a overflow, which means that you, after doing this, you then have to channel back your thing. So you can't do this every single turn. So, and because this is a cylinder, it's a area of effect with high damage. This is going to be like our our Fire Dragon Brilliant Flame um, type deal here. And then for the class feat, well, we could go for Flying Flames, which is going to be something like Fire Dragon Wing Attack. What I would like to actually take a look at is the Extended Kinesis, which lets you basically take control of fire now, kind of. Now, this is something that that Natsu's able to do, and you can kind of thing like the snuffing out fire. You can kind of flavor that into you're eating the fire. That's totally probably is totally fine. Our starting boosts, we will take a Constitution and Strength boost, and then we will take a Constitution and Dexterity boost, and then we will raise Strength, Con, Dex. So our Dexterity is only going to be a +2 right now, but at final level it will be all the way up to a +5, I believe. It's 3. No, it'll just be at +4. And then next, Natsu actually has a good amount of charisma, so we're going to do charisma next. Obviously, we're going to train acrobatics, athletics, and then basically whatever you want. For the next one, to make it accurate to the character, I'm just going to pick Arcana, because he kind of knows, he knows a decent bit about magic, being a wizard and all. And so, no weapons, no armor. You could always like wear leather armor or whatever. At this point, you could wear like a studded leather armor, just whatever you want. But right now, as is, we can use melee elemental blasts, things like Fire Dragon Iron Fire Dragon Iron Fist. We could do long-ranged ones. We have a Fire Breath attack. We have all of the base kit of Natsu's moveset already at level 1. This is why the Kineticist is my favorite class, because of just how much stuff it can give you just for the creativity and stuff. But now we're moving on to level 2. I won't do so much of the skill feats unless there's something that I specifically am looking for the character, which I don't think there is. But level 2, we have the 2 Kineticists. Level 2 options are Voice of the Elements, which lets you speak all languages, like he can speak Pirate, which lets him communicate with flames, which is something. He can communicate with elementals. Kinetic Activation will let us activate magic items, cast a spell, whatever. I'm just going to take Eternal Torch here. Just using it as a light source, whatever. There's a skill increase. The first skill increase that I'm going to do is athletics. And actually, is there an athletics skill feat I was looking for? Because we can leap, as part of our thing. No, that's not going to work. Stifle Flames. Actually decent. You know what? Stifle Flames is actually really good because it helps you with like forest fires and being lit on fire and whatever. General feats, we will do Ancestral Paragon or Toughness. We're going to be taking both of them at some point. So this is where you take another Dragon Blood feat. Oh yeah, we didn't take the breath. So now we can take a breath. We can take the breath weapon attack, which will kind of overlap with what we can do with our kineticist stuff, but it does give a different level of thing. It had different area of effect. It takes 2 actions, and it's on an attack roll, which is helpful because then you can Dragon's Breath and then also Elemental Blast. So that is pretty good. Next up, class feats. We have now our level 4 class feats. We have Blazing Wave, which is a 30-foot cone that will basically just completely overlap with our Dragon's Breath, except this one is Overflow. And then there's the Thermal Nimbus, which lets us create extra resistance to us and our allies from cold or fire, which is perfect. Exactly what we want. How long does this last? Any creature that starts a turn in your kinetic or moves into you. Yeah. Oh, and okay, and we have where's the gate junction? Fire impulse junction. Nope. Alright, that increases the damage dice of all fire by 1 step. Which is also very good. Doesn't increase our. You have to make sure that you're not increasing the damage of your Dragon's Breath from that ability. There's no like Titan Wrestler. That's what I wanted. Titan Wrestler. Next, it's going to be most likely an intimidation increase. Next, because Natsu is very intimidating. You got strength, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. With another ancestry feat, which I will do, not Draconic Flight, it doesn't grow wings, I'm just gonna use this for a, the Draconic Sight, giving him low light vision, which is pretty decent. We're going to expand the portal, which means that we get to take, Flying Flame, why not? And we get to choose one of these guys. So, I will take the Elemental Resistance junction because we're just stacking as much fire resistance as possible onto Natsu Dragneel. Natsu Dragneel here will basically be immune to fire damage. As very, very cool. At 17th level, you will gain immunity to effects listed. Yeah. Now, you can voluntarily forgo this resistance or immunity or both if you want something to affect you, because that's also a thing that Natsu does in his fight against Zonkro. He willingly takes the fire damage, which, whatever, that's fine. Counter element. Exact. This, though, this is the thing. Trigger. You're targeted by or in the area of effect of matching your kinetic element and originates from an enemy or hazard. So now, every time you are targeted by a fire attack, and yes, you can argue that what this says is every time you are targeted by a fire attack from an enemy, you can you can attempt to counteract that attack and counter attack with it. Um, yeah, you have to target a different creature within 30 feet of you. Yep. Which is exactly. So, level 6, we have full build. We have unlocked full build on Natsu by level 6. The rest of this build is just going to be grabbing a bunch of really cool explosive fire elemental stuff. We have kinetic durability and kinetic expertise. If I raise us to 7th level, you can see that right now we have fire resistance 3, but as soon as we activate our kinetic aura, that'll shoot up to fire resistance 10, and then you use your one action thermal nimbus, and that shoots it up to fire resistance 13. No, 20. No, 17? Yeah, it would be 17. Um, at this point, I think, right? Yeah, fire resistance of 17. Fantastic. Level 8 in our class. We then have Kindle Inner Flames, which is definitely something you can choose because it basically um, just gives the you can you can almost play it off as um, uh, doing a heroic speech, and now all of your friends deal more damage. Um, Now, it is a stance, and Thermal Nimbus is already a stance, and I would recommend staying in Thermal Nimbus. But Kindle Inner Flames is definitely a very good stance if you want to be switching back and forth between multiple stances. And then we have Solar Detonation, which is, as you read it, basically just um, a Flame Lotus exploding Flame Blade. So, of course, we're grabbing Solar Detonation. Ancestry Feat, you always want to check these. Is there a Dragon Blood trait at level 9? There is. There's Wing Buffet, and there's Formidable Breath. This is great. You take Formidable Breath, so now you have super increased breath range. We should also just be kind of increasing our athletics to master, our intimidation to master. We will expand the portal, obviously, which lets us also grab Kindle Inner Flames if we would like to. Volcanic Eruption's a pretty sick ability where lava reflectively explodes underneath you, which is insane. Crawling Fire is kind of this it is kind of his ability where he just shoots out in like a phoenix or dragon form with fire. It's pretty decent. I'll choose Kindle Inner Flames here so you can be switching back and forth between what you need most in the battle. Um, and then at this point, we get the Critical Blast. Or alternatively, the Aura Junction. Both of these are just increasing our potential damage output. So I'll go with the Aura Junction because we're kind of just trying to get as much of our aura up as possible. Is one thing that we are definitely doing here. Which also means it's class feat time. And in class feats, is wait, what is there a class feat that increases the range of your kinetic, or I don't know, ooh, aura shaping? Here we go. You make your kinetic aura emanate from any size between 5 foot and 20 foot. And then increase the maximum size you can do by 5 feet at 15th and 20th level, which means you can just have this 30-foot aura of heat that's being given off that deals damage to your enemies and protects your allies, and is weakening your enemies and all of this good stuff. It is pretty fun. It's like you turn it on, and it's basically like Natsu's ability where he just melts the entire stadium at level 20. None of the other ones here really work. You could do elemental transformation, which you could basically work like, because now you're in an elemental form. You could kind of similar to that be like, oh, I'm turning into E&D now, but whatever. It is now aura shaping because we want to melt that stadium. Now we take another point in Dex, in Con, Strength, Dex, and Charisma. Um, at this level, we can take a skill increase. I'm going to do Acrobatics. The class, like the general feats, whatever. I'll put Fleet. I'll put Fleet in this general feat slot, and the general feat slot back here. I will definitely take Toughness. Was there another general feat I didn't select? No. Die Hard's the next one because it's impossible to kill Natsu. Whatever. Now we're getting into some cool things. We have Architect of Flames, which lets you create a wall or dome of fire. Where's the damage? Wait, what? Where the damage increases, but where is the damage? Is this poorly worded? Because I do not see a damage type here. Like a damage it's dealt. Alright, well, effortless impulse. Your turn begins. You can immediately sustain one of your active impulses that requires a sustain. I don't know if we have one of those yet. But it is it is just a straight up good one. Here's a sustain one. You can fly up to your flight speed. Your elemental blasts have an additional die of damage. Furnace form is just a... It is just Dragon Force. That's just what it is. You can bring acrobatics up to master. You can just grab the acrobatics, athletics, skill feats as they come. Over here we have like bounce back. Very, very good ability. Advanced general training is good to grab like Die Hard, whatever you want. But I would just choose either bounce back or stubborn persistence, because both of those are the essence of Natsu Dragneel. We expand the portal again. And we just grab the critical blast junction. And now it's just, yeah, like I said, grabbing the stuff. Reflow elements. Walk through the conflagration. Lets you travel through fire. I like the effortless impulse, so now we can always just keep up the furnace form. Wait, there's one over here. Wow. This will be Architect of Flames. General feats. We'll grab Die Hard. Yeah, we do strength, dexterity, con, and charisma now. We're approaching max stats, and then at level 20, our stats will be +5, +6, +5, and then I'll just grab 1 point of wisdom. Going into the next level of class feats, we have Mysterious Aura. Um, okay. Now you don't even have to enter your stances. It doesn't even take any amount of like management. You can just switch between your stances however you want now without even taking an action. Very, very neat. Just whatever you need at the moment. Awesome. We expand the portal. I think this is the final time because the only thing we have left to do is the skill junction, which I guess will give us like a deception. Why not? We will train and we will get a mastery of acrobatics. We get the walk through the conflagration. Why not? An ancestry feat. We have lingering breath just to increase fire dragon roar. Last feat, you will do all shall end in flames. Ignite the sun is another really, really good one. Which is basically you create a miniature sun, which is absolutely insane. But all shall end in flames is also just so ridiculous. Both of these are absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, like this is something that can kill you, and if you die to this impulse, you return to life at the start of your next turn at the same space. When you return, you have hit points equal to double your level. This is, I'm taking everyone down with me, and then, hey, look, guys, I'm not actually dead. It is him breaking through the gates, like him breaking through in the Hades fight, or in the Zero fight, and making it out of hell. One final general feat that I would recommend is Numb to Death. Because now you have Die Hard. You can die from All Shall End in Flames, and you get brought back to life. And now, like, you take it because you've died at least once to Shall End in Flames, because I'm assuming you're going to use it, you're going to kill yourself, you're going to revive. Now you get this, and then whenever you regain hit points while you were dying, you gain a circumstance bonus to the number of hit points you regain equal to your level. And you gain neither the wounded condition nor increase the value of this condition. It's absolutely insane. You can't die now. Congratulations, you are Natsu Dragneel. And for a capstone ability, you have choices between Omnikinesis, which lets you replace one of your impulse feats using the same process as reflow elements. No, I wouldn't. I won't do that. I don't even have reflow elements. I didn't grab that. But then we have Pinnacle, the Kinetic Pinnacle. No one can match the pace at how elements flow from you. You are permanently quickened. You can use your extra action only to channel elements. You use a one-action elemental blast or a one-action stance impulse. So now, you just get to attack an extra time. You get to channel elements at the beginning of your turn, and because of how channel elements works, you get to use a one-action elemental blast with channeling your elements, and it is insane. Natsu Dragneel, ladies and gentlemen, you just kill him with a lot of fire. That is this is a really fun build to play. It, like, you don't even have, like, this doesn't have to be Natsu Dragneel. This is just very much Natsu Dragneel inspired. You're just, and yes, it is just a pure fire kineticist. However, there is a specific interest here. The interest is by 20th level, you have a natural resistance 10 to fire. Activating your kinetic aura gives you a resistance 30 to fire, and then you could have a stance increase that grants you resistance 50 to fire. Resistance 50 to fire basically makes you immortal. I know that Pathfinder damage scaling does scale high, but if you have resistance 50 to fire, plus you're able to redirect flames, you just win against fire magic wielders or anything with fire, especially dragons. Um, in fact, if you're battling a fire elemental dragon, you have resistance 60 to to that fire dragon's fire-based attacks. You are a dragon slayer, and your teammates also have resistance 20 to fire with your stance. And you're just dealing fire damage to everything around you constantly. You have legendary athletics, legendary acrobatics, absolutely insane intimidation stat. You are great. You can intimidate and glare opponents automatically, and everything just works. You literally can't die. Your dex, you have so much. You have a +5 dex with unarmored, with mastery and unarmored defense, leaving you with 41 AC. You get 308 hit points because that includes the toughness. Yep, 308 because that includes toughness. And everything works. You're incredibly physically durable. You are a tank. You are a damage dealer. You have you can deal a bunch of damage up close. You can deal a bunch of damage from afar. You have burning jets to close the distance and move around a lot. The only thing you struggle with is that you have low int, low whiz, but that's fine. That's perfectly fine, especially since someone else on your team can stop you from going insane. You do have this fiery body focus spell that I glanced over because it's the polymorph thing that you have. You have a bunch of impulses here. Everything works. Furnace form's awesome. Oh, no, Furnace, you don't actually have this, it's just a relevant spell. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. And you can do every move that Natsu has. Now, as an alternative build, if you want to play a little bit around it, right here, fork the path. I believe it's air element. Yeah, here we go. Yes, it is air element. You grab Storm Spiral here. You still grab all the London Flames, but instead of Kinetic Pinnacle, I believe you can take Crown Tempest's Fury, which is a stance, which because it's a stance, you now just can on the fly say, "Yo, I'm in lightning flame dragon mode. Activate your elemental damage blast. Deal an extra 1d12 electricity damage. You're dealing electric damage a bunch. You can do this earlier as well. I don't know if there are here. Ash Strider is an air fire elementalist one. Not very useful for you. But yeah, then yeah, you grab this, and now you can swap. Now you have 3 forms. You have now you have your forms. You have normal mode. You can make Fire Dragon King mode. You have Dragon Force, and you have Lightning Flame Dragon mode. So that's that. That is the build. this is what I recommend if you want to play as Natsu Dragneel. Um, and this is also just a showcase of why Pathfinder Second Edition is one of my is probably my favorite system, especially when making characters, because it's just so perfect to make anime characters or anime inspired characters. Um, and um, There's so much creativity you can do. If I was doing free archetype, I could grab some archetype feats, but I wasn't going to do that for Natsu because I couldn't think of anything that really made sense for Natsu in archetypes. There might be one, but yeah. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully I will make more of these. Next up is going to be Lucy as a summoner, and um, then Urza as a Magus. So yeah, stay tuned for those. This has been Jackson Cobalt. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day, and as always, stay awesome. Goodbye, guys.